Here we go. I hear there ain't no fans on Rocky Top up in them Tennessee hills. See that meth and smoke on Rocky Top, ain't no teeth in them grills. Once there was a team on Rocky Top, SEC legends in fact. Wild as a Lincoln, loud as a thunderclap, what the hell happened to that? Rocky Flop, you'll always be a washed-up team to me. Sad old Rocky Top, backwoods Tennessee. What happened to your team? Once teams feared the Vols on Rocky Top, looking for a good win still. Players won't commit to Rocky Top, reckon they never will. Old Smokey hates it up on Rocky Top, teams too sloppy by far. That's 'cause all the fans on Rocky Top carry their teeth in a jar. Rocky Flop, you'll always be a bunch of has-beens to me. Sad old Rocky Top, Slackjaw, Tennessee, inbred Tennessee. I've seen Smokey live in the city life, trap that dog in a pen. All I know is it's a pity life, can't get a top 10 win. Floppy Flop, you'll always be a cut rate team to me. Sad old Rocky Flop, washed up Tennessee, backwoods Tennessee. What happened to your team? Well, some things never change. Had to bring back that video there. Made that a little while back. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, that particular video. Let me see if I can find when did I make that? Oh Lord. I had to go dig through my videos to find that. I felt it fitting, but I mean, it seems like we do that every year. So, made that video 4 years ago. Georgia's standing on business still. So appreciate everybody tuning in. Thanks so much for being here. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share. I really appreciate you guys being here. This is your first time here. Don't worry. If you're a Tennessee fan, don't worry. I can take whatever you're going to dish out. So let's go ahead and get the obvious out of the way. Congrats to the University of Georgia for going on the road in a super loud environment. 128 decibel is what I saw on the actual Jumbotron at one time. I don't know if that number is accurate because Tennessee can't do math. They seem to think that an almost win or we should have won or we could have won is a win somehow, when actually what it is embarrassing. If you're a Tennessee fan and you're here and you congratulate us and all that stuff, I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to the Georgia. I mean, excuse me. I'm talking as a Georgia fan. I'm talking to the Tennessee fans that were, well, we'd have won that game if our kicker would have made that field goal kick. Hey, do me a favor. Why don't you call up Ohio State and ask them how that works? I'll wait. As it turns out, it's not over till it's over. And it has to be the end of regulation or going up ahead on points and not kicking the PAT, which we could have kicked in overtime. So there's that. Appreciate you guys being on here. We're going to talk through some of this game. First and foremost, we learned a lot about both teams here. We really learned a lot. Georgia had an opportunity here. Georgia would have lost if they didn't have all them good players, though, right? Ed Zachary. They have Ed Zachary disease. they keep thinking they're going to beat Georgia every year, and they always end up doing the exactly same thing and losing. All right, hats off to Tennessee, man. They made our defense look like trash, but not quite trash enough. Joey Aguilar, 371 yards. His completion percentage was north of 70%, I believe, or right there close to it. Outstanding performance by that young man. The two picks really hurt him, though. Georgia did not throw a pick, with the exception of the Hail Mary by Ryan Puglisi at halftime. Yeah, that's kind of to be expected. You can't fault that young man for that performance. Gunnar Stockton, once again, let me do the math on this for you guys real quick because I could give you a rough number, but I don't want to give a rough number for this one. Let me see here. Nope, it's not that. It's this divided by this. Subtract the 7, carry the 1, round it over to the imaginary. Oh yeah, 71%, 74%, 74%. We're going to talk about this. Don't you worry. We're going to talk about it. We are going to talk about it. Yes. Gunnar Stockton threw for 304 yards in probably the most hostile environment he will face this season. I don't believe that Tuscaloosa is going to be anywhere near this loud. And I don't foresee Georgia having any more problems with not Tennessee, not Tuscaloosa. I'm sorry, at Auburn. I misspoke. We play Alabama at home. So what's up, what's up, everybody who jumped in here earlier? Jay Shipes, appreciate you being here, sir. Robert, thank you so much for being here. BDB Sports, thanks for joining the chat, sir. Really appreciate you being here. You're very special to this channel. Thank you for helping us out every single time we're on. Dylan Jones, thank you. Brett Pitt, once again, back in the show. DC the Great, number 34. Appreciate you being here, sir. At Auburn, yeah. So we're going to talk about Georgia's game here, the rest of the game here. Nate Frazier clocked in at 73 yards rushing. Gunnar Stockton himself had 38. And that was with, keep in mind, he took 3 sacks, and he still put 38 yards on the board, which is pretty impressive for a quarterback. 13 carries, average 3 yards carries, but you got to take into consideration the sacks. Chauncey Bowens did not have a great game. He only had 32 yards across 12 carries, which is a little less than 3 yards carried. Dwight Phillips Jr. had a pretty good game. He had 5 carries, 29 yards, about 6 yards a carry. Tennessee's rushing game was really split between Star Thomas and Dean Bishop. Star Thomas had 9 carries for 60 yards. He did really well. Dean Bishop, I thought he did pretty well. But looking at the numbers, it wasn't quite as good as I thought, because it seemed like every time that guy got the ball, man, he was picking up 4, 5, 6 yards. But this is basically the way it boiled down. Georgia went out and put 304 yards passing up and almost 200 yards, 2 yards short of 200 yards rushing in this game against Tennessee. Tennessee had a great passing attack, 371 yards, but only 125 on the ground. And that deficit there, the 75 yards or roughly 70 yards on the ground, and made the difference in the game to me. Tennessee had about 70 more yards passing. Georgia had about 70 more yards rushing. The stats in this game were really, really close. The 2 interceptions really hurt Tennessee. There was a lot of opportunities in this game for Tennessee to have put this game out of reach, but they didn't do it earlier in the game. That's why that young man missing the field goal does not matter. These guys have the right idea. If you don't know what you're doing here, and you're not doing this, what these 2 guys are saying, you're missing out. You should do that. It comes with a free loaf of bread in the future. So do that. Let me get rid of this. We don't need that anymore. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah. So looking at Georgia's layout here, the receiving yards look really good. 300 yards through the air in a super hostile environment from a young man who played at an elite level. I felt like, he played at a 93.4 QBR over Tennessee's 85.9. He didn't have as many yards, but man, his QBR was higher. He didn't have he did not have the 2 interceptions. Made a huge difference in the game. I think Georgia did fumble the ball one time. Gunnar Stockton fumbled the ball and lost it one time. Boo Carter, I love saying that. Boo Carter had a fumble. Joey Aguilar had a fumble, and Brian Eason did pick up the recovery, but they didn't. They had 2 fumbles, didn't lose any recoveries. Georgia only had 1 sack in this game, which felt really weird. Watching this game, I was really surprised Georgia was not getting after Joey Aguilar very well. I feel like our defensive line just did not do a good job. If you go back and you look at this game, the numbers can be a little bit deceiving, especially with Joey Aguilar. And his first 12 passes, he went 12 for 12. And then on his next, the rest of the game, he was like, I want to say, what was it? He was 12 for 24, which, 50% completion percentage in the second half of the game is Georgia's not going to help you. Tennessee got off to a hot start. They put 21 points on the board. Georgia rallied back, made it 17-21. Georgia had an opportunity to score here and got a touchdown, but it didn't work out. Georgia did try to go down the field and throw a Hail Mary. It just didn't work. So that we went into halftime 17-21. And I said at that time, if you are only up 4 points on Georgia at the half, you are in trouble. Georgia comes back, takes the lead going into the fourth quarter. Just as we got to the fourth quarter, Georgia was up. Tennessee rallies back. We end the game tied 38-38. Now, 1 point, Georgia was in the lead. Georgia lost the lead. This game was a fist fight, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I saw somewhere that Georgia ran 11 new unique run plays. We'd never run them before. Never seen them before, never done them before. Nobody's ever seen them before. So, I also saw that we targeted our tight ends a lot more this game. We had Lawson Lucky had 3 receptions. Oscar Delp had a reception. All right, there's 4. Sokovie White-Helton is a wide receiver. He got some play time. By the way, if you go look up Sokovie White-Helton, he looks like he's like 45 years old. He looks like a Richard Pryor impersonator, dude. He's awesome. Shout out to the film guy. Yep. Why does Notre Dame being 0-2 make me smile? It should always make you smile. Looking at the rest of this game, there was a lot of things that went on. Georgia's right tackle struggled, all day long. Gunnar Stockton was scrambling around and running for his life. It was amazing some of the passes he was making. Not all of the passes he were making were as good as his numbers say. Okay, his numbers look like he's, a Heisman contender, and which he may be. But what I can tell you is that there were some outstanding catches that were made by Colby Young, Zachariah Branch, and London Humphreys made that touchdown in the end zone. Man, what a great catch by that guy. Zachariah Branch is just that. That's some of the best receiving we've seen at Georgia in a long, long time. So very, very excited. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you guys hear me okay? I'm waiting for someone to say something in the chat here. Okay. Because my mute button's flashing on my mic all of a sudden, and I'm like, oh, no, I hope I haven't been talking this whole time. Okay. Yeah, Zachariah Branch is going to be an All-American for sure. Give Tennessee their flowers. Man, they did a really good job, I thought, on defense of limiting what Georgia could do, but both teams seem to move the ball extremely well. Tennessee, if they continue to play like this and they can tighten their defense up a little bit, low audio. Is it low? Is the audio low? Somebody besides Robert, because Robert's already said it's low. Man, I must have like a 15-second delay. What's going on? And I can turn the gain up a little bit. How about now? Is it running? I bet it's running through the. Is the audio poor? Is it a poor quality audio? I bet it is. Watch this. How about now? Is that better? Jay Shipes is like, it's fine. Good to go. All right, sweet. Sorry. I looked down and I saw my mute button was flashing on my microphone, and I'm like, what in the hell is going on? And then I realized it was because it was muted whenever I rolled into the studio. It took the only available microphone, which is built into the camera. And so when I looked down and I saw that flash, and I'm like, what in the hell? And then I was like, okay. Yeah. Just like Georgia, sometimes I got to get to halftime before I can straighten myself out. So looking at this game, I mean, it was a great game. I enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed the ending to this game. I have to go back and shorten that video down because it went into overtime and there was a bunch of stuff that happened to me. I just want to shorten it down to the ending there. So, yeah, sorry about the audio problem, guys. But yeah, Georgia gets a quality win here. If you're a Tennessee fan, I don't want to hear that we almost won crap. Listen, you had a sold out crowd. That place was checkerboarded. You threw as much noise as you could at that young man. And does anybody know how many false start we had? Oh, I'll go ahead and tell you it was 0. We had 0 false starts in that game. Absolutely incredible performance by Georgia. Super hostile environment on the road. New first SEC road game quarterback, and he goes in there and he puts up a 74% completion percentage, 304 yards, 2 touchdown passes, a 93.4 QBR rating on what looks like could be a solid playoff contending team. So, that having been said, we're going to look at the rest of Georgia's schedule real quick. How many offsides do we have? Now, we ain't talking about that. I'm not sure how many we had, but it was too many. Some of the holding calls I saw in that game on both sides of the ball I thought were ticky-tacky. If you go back and you watch the video, as a matter of fact, let's just do that. Let me just pull that up because I want to point this out because it's right at the beginning of the video that I made. God, stop trying to sell me stuff. I don't have any money. I'm broke. Okay. Let me go ahead and mute the audio on that. Go back over here. I'm going to share my screen so you guys. This is just the easiest way for me to show you guys. What's going on, Michael? This video here. We're going to share this. Just hit the max. God, this guy has such an annoying voice. 7 to go. Georgia's coming down the field. Ball's on about 28 yards. Dude, why do you have the camera in your mouth?
A little bit.
Golly.
2nd and 6. We should run the ball up the middle so that it goes nowhere again.
All right, watch this, guys. Here we go.
See if we do that.
Watch. Throws it. Nice throw. Nice release. Pretty looking ball. Goodness. Look at this.
Pass interference. Jesus.
Was that touchdown?
No.
So this is in the 4th quarter right here.
Was that pass?
Colton, sit down, buddy. I mean, you got mud in here. What are we doing? I mean,
look. Hold on. Wait for it. Look at this. Somebody come look at this. This man has been clobbered. This man right here is absolutely wrapped up. He's got his arm around the Georgia defender. Then, as we go forward a little bit further, look, pushes it, hits him in the head, knocks him down. Referee standing right there, dude.
What are we doing, man?
Listen, there's the referee right there. So to all of the Tennessee fans that may end up watching this and say that there was this call or that call that they were giving to Georgia, that right there should have been a first down, and that would have moved Georgia up considerably closer to the goal line. Now, Georgia ended up getting a touchdown out of that anyway, but yeah, how is that not a flag? That is not a flag because referees get it wrong a lot of the times. And it's not that they're against Georgia and it's not that they're against Tennessee. It's just that they're not good at what they do. Over the past couple of years, what's up, Drufus? Over the past couple of years, like I've kind of slowly, begrudgingly come to the conclusion that these teams, the teams are getting bad calls both ways. You don't see the bad calls against the other team because you're not looking for the bad calls against the other team. You only see the bad calls against your team because that's what you're looking for. But these referees, man, they miss a lot, dude, and it's bad. There's holding on almost every single play. There's a lot of calls that get called that shouldn't get called, and there's a lot of calls that get missed that don't get called. What's up? Yeah, that bloke was having a day off. That guy was he had to be eating a hot dog or something, man. Makes me want a hot dog real bad. That was terrible. Georgia punting, both of these. I mean, if you go back and you look at these games, man, the numbers are just scarily similar. The big difference here, and I want to point this out to Tennessee fans, is that our kicker made all 3 of his kicks, and your kicker missed 1 of his 3. That's the difference in this game. That is the difference in this game. He missed the 1 at regulation. He made the 1 after. He made one earlier in the game. In the fourth quarter. He missed a second one in the fourth quarter, and he made the 1 in overtime. Peyton Woodring made the 1 in the second quarter, the third, and the fourth quarter. Like, he made all of his. So if you're going to say, if we'd have made that field goal, we'd have won the game. You can't really say that. It's not fair to that kid. Everybody else had an opportunity to win that game as well, and they didn't. So there's that. Brett Thorson had 3 punts for 400, Jesus. He had 3 punts for 143 yards. Jack Ross had 3 punts for 145 yards. I mean, scarily similar stats in this game. These teams played each other to the wire. Neither team gave up. Neither team ever stopped. Georgia's third down efficiency was 8 for 17, which is nearly 50%. Tennessee's was 5 for 12, nearly 50%. Total yards, 502 to 496. Penalties. This is what hurt a little bit. Georgia had 5 penalties. Tennessee had 10 for 82, so pretty sloppy. Georgia had a much larger time of possession, 35 to 24. So there's that. All right, that's pretty much enough beatdown on those guys. We do it every year, so it's the annual volunteer beating at either Athens or Athens North. We'll let you pick. Michael says, Brett, I have to ask, are you going to become an official like you talked about a few years ago? If they would pay me, yes, I would gladly go be an official. College football is back, and that alone deserves a like. I agree, sir. That's a great trend to start. All right, let's talk about my second favorite punching bag. Let's talk about the greatest college quarterback of all time, Arch Manning. That's right, kids. Step right up, get your tickets to the Arch Show so we can talk about how incredible the most highly rated quarterback of all time coming out of high school really is. Wait a minute, these numbers can't be right. He's 11 for 25. How is that even possible? Well, fans, if you just tuned in, you'll be excited to know that your favorite YouTube content creator, Big Dog Brett, tried to warn these Texas fans 2 years ago. Whenever Arch Manning was taking number 1 overall number 1 overall quarterback rating, the highest rated of all time, and now he's out here sucking his thumb. If you also would have watched Big Dog Brett earlier in the season, he would have shown you the stats difference between Georgia's quarterback, Gunnar Stockton, and Arch Manning, who is now falling flat on his face. How can it be possible that such a highly rated quarterback who has 2 legendary coaches, not just coaches, but 2 legendary quarterbacks himself, and Eli and Peyton, continue to suck this bad? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Exhibit A. 11 for 25. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. It's almost impressive that he made the interception. Somebody was actually able to catch one of these terrible passes. Kids, don't do drugs. Because if you do drugs, you like to think things like Arch Manning is decent. Listen to me. The quarterback, Malachi Nelson, was playing against a Texas defense. He put up 24 out of 36. Rough math on that, kids. That's right. 72% completion percentage or thereabouts. Now, he did throw 2 interceptions, which drastically affected his overall rating. But I am so incredibly sick and tired of on 3? I think on 3. Slobbing this guy left and right. What's up, 225 girl? There is absolutely no reason to continue to say that this guy is good. This guy's not good. This guy's the opposite of good. This guy's terrible. This guy's 6'4" walking pile of interceptions. Look. He's played 3 games. He's had 3 interceptions. He has 6 touchdowns. His completion percentage is 65%. 2023, it was 40. What are we doing? Hey, keep this guy forever. 44% completion percentage. My God, I don't know of any other college football player. I mean, there's running backs have a better completion percentage than this, for goodness sakes. Yeah, 10 straight incomplete. 10 straight. Listen. This is probably not a fair assessment, because your boy, as they say, your boy Big Dog Brett is a Slob Olympian, 2-time champion, and I know for a fact that I could get in here and throw better than this. This is absolutely terrible. This could not be any worse if he was paid for. I mean, it's that bad. It really is that bad. And I'm going to continue to bang that drum until people get it. I mean, UTEP rushed for 22 yards. Excuse me, for 50 yards, for 2.2 yards a carry. They're receiving for 209 yards, 8.7 yards a carry. Listen, they weren't down by 11 points at half. Texas couldn't even score 7 points in every quarter overall. They couldn't even get to 28 points against UTEP. Against UTEP? Yeah, that's right, UTEP. What is UTEP? University Texas of Eastern El Paso, of San Jose, Santa Monica Pier. Listen, doesn't matter. They're going to play Sam Houston next week. God, I hope he gets his completion percentage above 44%. Then they got to play Florida. As terrible as DJ Lagway is, Florida's probably going to beat him. Oklahoma's going to beat him. Kentucky might beat him. Mississippi State, no. Vanderbilt will beat him. Georgia will beat him. Arkansas might. And Texas A&M might, if they leave this kid in. He is absolutely terrible. He's so terrible. In fact, we're going to move on to the next team. Jeez. Absolutely terrible. Let's see. Coming up next, we've got Miami versus the USF Bulls. Now, my feelings on Carson Becker, well known. I don't like what he did. I don't like what he said. I don't like where he went. Just is what it is. That having been said, guy had a great game. Okay, he had a really good game. 340 yards. He's throwing for like 85% completion percentage, 3 touchdowns. But guess what? He still got that interception bug, man. He still got the interception bug. Miami was doing well on the ground. They ran the ball when they needed to, picked up first downs when they needed to, 205 yards on the ground. And their defense absolutely shut down the rush game from South Florida, what little bit they had. They couldn't move the ball at all on the ground. They had to resort to the air. They got 300 yards through the air, which looked good. But, man, this game was out of reach by halftime. It was 28-6. You're looking at but then at the end of the third quarter, it's 35-6, and then they're just playing pity points after that. Miami looked really good in this game against a South Florida Bulls team that looked really good last week. So, yeah. After last year, I'm cool with Beck being gone. I don't wish anything bad either. I would not have wished him anything bad if he simply would not have lied about what he was doing. He said he's going to declare for the draft, and then he didn't declare for the draft. He went and chased his girlfriend down to South Florida. And then when he got down to Miami, he started running his mouth about Georgia. So I love my dogs. The dogs did a lot of things for you, young man. It wasn't just you doing things for the dogs. They taught you a lot. You took all those skills and everything you learned at Georgia, and you went to Miami, and you want to talk smack about Georgia. So, no, sir, I'm not going to be warm and fuzzy about you. But, yeah, moving on. We're going to talk about Vanderbilt, South Carolina first. Then we're going to talk about Georgia Tech. Holy smokes. Diego Pavia is still slinging the ball around, guys. Still slinging the ball around. Now, I didn't watch this game. I did not watch this game. I can't say that I know anything special about this game other than just reading the box score. But I was checking back and forth, and Vanderbilt was very consistent. They scored at every quarter. South Carolina just, 242 yards between two quarterbacks. They couldn't figure out what to do. Both quarterbacks had a 32.5% or 35.2% QBR, just absolutely terrible. Ran the ball for a grand total of 86 yards, and they threw the ball 242 yards, which normally would be enough to win you a game against a Vanderbilt team. But Vanderbilt ran for 146 and threw for 177. But South Carolina had that one touchdown in the first quarter, and that was it. They were shut out after that. So Diego Pavia continues to be a weapon for them. How effective is he going to be throughout the rest of the year? I don't know. But I'm interested. Obviously not this coming up week, but the week after that, Georgia plays Alabama. That's a good game. And then the week after that, Alabama plays Vanderbilt. Now, Vanderbilt's got a rough stretch of teams here, man, because their last 7 games, 6 out of the last 7 are ranked opponents: Alabama, LSU, Missouri, Texas, Auburn, and Tennessee. Not Kentucky, but Kentucky is very physical, so we'll see what happens. I didn't know that Sellers got hurt, so that was news to me. I can't sit here and say, well, yeah, that's right. I had no idea. But I like watching Sellers. He's a great quarterback, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch that game. And I hope that young man's okay. I never want to see injuries. Even on players I don't like, I don't want to see injuries. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Georgia Tech versus Clemson here. Let's talk about Georgia Tech, Clemson. Guys. Oh, my goodness. When I tell you that Georgia Tech was scrappy in this game, I watched this game. Haynes King is still Haynes King. Haynes King will hurt you if you don't give him the proper respect he deserves as an elite talent football player. This guy will hurt you. I don't care that this QBR says 69. Throw that away. This guy's an animal. He is an absolute animal. Just answering my buddy here, Jay. Yeah. So, if Haynes King was on any team besides Georgia Tech, I would say he would probably be a Heisman candidate. He's that good. And Jamal Haynes, he gets a lot of hype, but Clemson done a very good job of shutting him down, but they just could not stop Haynes King. When they needed 3 or 4 yards, Haynes King got it. If they needed a quick little check down pass, Haynes King got it. It wasn't a bunch of high-powered. There was a couple of deep shot passes, but man, watching these guys play, they looked really good when what they were doing, and at the same time, Clemson looked really bad. Cade Klubnik did not look like a quarterback who's been playing since 2002 at Clemson. He just didn't. He looked terrible. I was high on Clemson coming into the season. I thought they were going to do really well. But unfortunately, Cade Klubnik just, I don't know, man. That's probably the worst I've ever seen him play, or I can remember seeing him play. For those of you who don't know, one of the friends of the channel here is Pigskin Pete. And Pigskin Pete's a great guy. Both him and Mrs. Pete are great. They're avid and rabid college football fans. They love Clemson. He went to the game with Rec Talk, and unfortunately, they didn't win that game, and they really should have. I don't know what the stat is, but I would be curious to know when the last time it was that Clemson, when they were ranked in the top 15, lost to an unranked team. That's got to be a crazy stat. Let me see if I can find that. Sorry, I gotta look it up. I gotta look it up. I have to tell it before yesterday because it said yesterday. The last time Clemson was ranked in the top 15 and lost to an unranked team was September 11th, 2021. Wow. When they lost to guess who? Georgia Tech. Dang. That loss was a 10-3 defeat to Georgia Tech, who was unranked at the time. And they were ranked while Clemson was ranked at 25. I guess it didn't quite get my question right, but still. So it's been even longer. Yeah, they did almost. Yeah. Was it hot inside that stadium? I've been by that stadium 100 times, man. I never want to go in there. That stadium was built. I want to say that's one of the oldest stadiums in the United States. Bobby Dodd Stadium is 112 years old. It was built in 1913. So I'm not going in that fossil. I don't know what kind of stuff it has from the Spanish influenza and the plague that they keep putting on their players, but I don't want it. Anyway, that having been said, Georgia Tech, man, they put their head down and they just stayed with it. Clemson, you thought for a minute there they might be back in it because they were winning. They were winning 14-13 going into the fourth quarter. And then Georgia Tech goes down. Does what Georgia Tech does, I guess. Runs the clock down. Can't win a field goal. By the way, the Georgia Tech fans, they did rush the field. They did tear down a goalpost. And then they couldn't figure out how to get it out of the stadium. There's videos all over the internet. These engineering degree kids can't get a stick out of the stadium. Then they didn't know what to do with it once they finally figured it out. So what do? They threw it in this swampy pond they have. Oh. Yeah, I will say that I was really concerned that they took that extra shot there, trying to get a touchdown, which I thought was kind of needless. I mean, but that field goal team shot out on the field. They were sitting on ready, waiting on go. Hats off to that special teams coach. Now, congrats to Georgia Tech. Clemson, though, man, what a letdown. What a letdown. There were some other great games on throughout the day. The LSU Florida game for a little while there, it was 10-13 going into the half, and then both teams just kind of gave up. I guess they just quit playing football. That game ended up being 20-10, and you got all these people talking about how LSU is so great, and I'm just like, guys, did you guys not watch that game? If DJ Lagway hadn't have thrown what was it? I think he threw what? Yeah, he threw 5 interceptions. 5. If Florida throws one less interception, they might win that game. I'm just saying. Yeah, that kick would have been good for another 15 yards. You're right. But looking at that game, 5 interceptions. Oh, my Lord, dude. And he still threw for a 66% completion percentage. He just was throwing to the wrong team. It was laughable. And Florida can't run the ball. 79 yards, averaging 2.9 a carry. LSU was rushing for 4.6 and 102 yards in the game. They didn't throw. They threw 1 interception. They didn't fumble. But until I see more out of LSU, I'm not buying the LSU hype train, man. That's not going to work. Don't really care about anything else. I thought Garrett Nussmeier looked terrible. It just didn't look like he was making the passes he wanted to make. He threw it 27 times. He made 15 of them. I mean, that's a little That's a little over 50%. That's not what you're looking for out of an elite team. Oregon looked pretty average, I guess, against Northwestern. I figured they would have done a little better. Where's the Alabama game at? Oh, Ole Miss Arkansas was a fist fight there for a while. My goodness. Ole Miss ends up winning that game 41-35, but watching that game, it was 28-31 at the half, and then I guess Arkansas just quit playing football because they were in it there for a while and they ended up losing. Alabama Arkansas, not a bad game to watch. Ty Simpson looked really good. He didn't look so good in some of those early games, but he looked really good here against Wisconsin. I'm going to tell you a number here. And, I mean, he was throwing for like 73, 74%. Really solid numbers. 382 yards through the air. But Alabama's rushing game was terrible. 72 yards. I mean, I get when you're passing that well, you don't need to rush, but they didn't rush well. 3.3 yards a carry, only for 72 yards. That should concern you. Wisconsin had more rushing yards at 92. Danny O'Neal did not have a great day. He threw 2 interceptions. He had 117 yards through the air. Alabama absolutely dominated this team, but they would throw the ball and then run down the field almost lackadaisically, and they knew they had this team out talented. It looked like they were playing a high school team most of the game. But I was still a little concerned they didn't run it very well. It's just very shocking. Very shocking. What's up, Extreme X? We better get it together. Ryan Williams and his teddy bear are coming to town. How dare you talk about him like that, sir? You leave that man and his passive fire and painted fingernails alone. It's not appropriate. It's not appropriate. Michigan goes out there and slaps 63-point on Central Michigan. Nobody cares. And Auburn, 31-15 over to the South Alabama Jaguars. Jackson Arnold threw for just over 50%. 13 for 24. Not great. They did not look good in this game. They looked good in the second quarter. That was about it. But, yeah, is what it is. Is what it is, as they say. Well, guys, I mean, next week, Georgia's got a bye week. There's a lot of good games next week, I think, if I remember correctly. Let me go to week 4. I did tell y'all to pick Georgia Tech in that game, by the way. Tennessee plays UAB. They will try to hang 100 on UAB. They just will. Oregon's playing Oregon State, which seems weird for them to be playing this early in the season. Florida State's playing Kent State. Auburn, Oklahoma, that'll be a good game. Ole Miss versus Tulane. I'm kind of interested in watch that. I want to watch Michigan beat the ever-living fire out of Nebraska just because I can't stand Nebraska. It's not their team. It's their fans. Notre Dame, Purdue, nobody cares. Georgia Tech, Temple, nobody cares. South Carolina, Missouri. That might be interesting to see a bounce-back game from South Carolina. I do want to watch the Florida-Miami game. I really want to watch that. I think Miami's going to win, but I want to see what they do with DJ Lagway. DJ Throwaway, whatever. Vanderbilt, nobody cares. I want to watch Texas versus Sam Houston. I want to see how badly they perform against an 0-3 team. We'll see what happens there. But, yeah. DBs, well, see, here's the great thing about this game is that Georgia played in this game, and they didn't do as near as well on defense. Like, that's one of the worst defensive performances I've seen out of Georgia since maybe we played Ohio State or back when we got in that boat race with Oklahoma. I mean, in all 3 of those games, we've won. So, one of the other podcasts or YouTube channels I watched. What's up, Bruce? Yeah, good teams find a way to win, and the better you are, the luckier you get, and the luckier you get, the better you are. Lost my train of thought. Oh. Getting in these boat races with these teams shows you that if Georgia's defense gets just a little bit better, they're super dangerous. To be able to go to a hostile environment like Rocky Top and win that game the way we did should give our team a lot of confidence. This should give Gunnar Stockton all the confidence in the world that he can absolutely ball out. Also note to note to the Bobo haters. Did you see the score? Did you see the yards? Did you see the completion percentages? Now, you're not going to like every dead blasted play. There were times I was hating him. He was running up the middle, but apparently it was doing something because it allowed our receivers to get open. I don't know exactly what's going on. And I guess that's why I don't make the millions of dollars that they make. But I'll tell you like this, man. Defense, you never thought you would say this. Defense has got some stuff to fix. The offense is fine. Never thought I'd say that. I'm going into this game going, I trust Kirby Smart and the defense. Our defense can get it done. I said that I feel like if Georgia can score, in order for you to believe Tennessee could win this game, you had to believe that Georgia was going to score less than 30 and that Tennessee was going to score more than 30. Well, one of those things happened. It just so happens Georgia was able to score more than 43 points because we scored 44. But, yeah, every time we get beat by some other team, it's number one receiver. Well, that's what they got them for, right? Watching those teams play, man, it was a really, really good game back and forth. Yeah, you should see, like, if you were watching me play, like, I'm constantly saying, don't let anybody behind you because I still have PTSD from the game that we lost against Alabama because we got beat deep late in the game. Just absolutely killed us. Absolutely killed us. And so ever since then, it's like, yeah, don't let nobody behind you. I don't care if you have to tackle him. Take the penalty, but don't let him behind you. I hate that. They were running some great routes, and we were absolutely getting cooked on them. Absolutely cooked. Chopped. It's terrible. So we got – the good news is that whenever you play against elite talent, then you get to see what needs to be fixed. When you're playing against Marshall or you're playing against Austin Peay or whomever, you don't really learn much about your team. You can really kind of out-talent them. You can kind of out-physical them. You can out-match them up. But in the second half of that game, I mean, Georgia was down big, and then Georgia rallied back. That proves that Georgia has the best coaching staff in America. They just do. So at the end of the day, you found out this was a gritty football team. I felt like we were going to give up. We didn't. We pushed through, put points on the board, and we got out of there with a win. One thing I will say, though, I want to tip of the hat to the Big Red Marching Band. They played old Rocky Top at the end of the game. They said, yeah, we're going to play that for you one time. Y'all can have that Rocky Top. We heard it all night. Now y'all can hear it. Oh, it's good stuff. Good stuff. We haven't had any corners since Champ Bailey. That might be true. But you know what? What's up, Gil? Man, you showed up here just in time. Just in time. So we complain about not having good receivers. We have good receivers. We complain about not having a good quarterback. We have a great quarterback. We complain about not having good running backs. We have good running backs. Now we're complaining about offensive line and defensive line and our secondary. If you would have told me that my biggest complaints in this game were going to be offensive line, defensive line, and our secondary, I'd have went, you're crazy. And I would have been wrong because those were the biggest problems we had. Right tackle, we got to get that fixed. There's going to be a lot of work done on that right tackle because, man, how can you be playing for Georgia and getting treated like that? I don't know. We got to get that fixed. Yeah. So anyway, really appreciate you guys being here. Thanks so much for tuning in. We're going to you guys have a great day. God bless. Leave your comments below. Go Dogs.